Welcome back everyone to World of Tanks with Black Knight. So, today I'm going to talk you through some tactics and how you can take advantage of any situation that's, well, quite basic. So, let's first watch how this team will do in this team battle. I've got this replay from Ted. Yeah, he does have a lot of 9s behind his name. And, well, showing you just how a good tactic can be in such a game. This will be actually quite surprising on how this will work out. So, they've decided put the heavy armor to that alley and let it have some good use. The ISU to a position where he can use his excellent gun, his superb gun is better to say, and the Tiger 1 to make sure that he isn't getting ganked up there. And the faster heavy tank, the AMX 5100, is going up the hill with the light tractor. And the enemy Tiger 2 and KV4 have already been spotted on the 3 line, and seeming the T1 got killed there, the Tiger 2 probably went forward, but he didn't move forward that much, and he actually went back to C3, showing that he has no intentions to rush. And now the T28 prototype got spotted at that alley, so the Tiger 2 and the Leeuwen can be starting to use their excellent armor. And the enemy is actually doing the same thing as this team is doing, spreading their team around and hoping that the team will be doing its damage. So now the IS-3 is spotted on the hill. And light tractor cannot do a lot versus an IS-3. And, well, I cannot show you anything here because, well, as you can see, he went into this building, into this arch. So you can see the IS-3 there, and the T69 was also on the hill, and they together took out the AMX 5100. And, well, that IS-3 actually is not going to waste a bullet for this light tractor. So, well, he's being destroyed by just ramming. So, let's take a look at what the Leeuwen can see. The Leeuwen is being shot up by that T69, but the Tiger 2 is doing what he should be doing and is side scraping there, while the Leeuwen was totally in the open. And as you can see, the Tiger 1 on the other flank got no help, but just took out the enemy King Tiger. So, they're not counting on the enemy KV4 being able to finish the job. Now the Leeuwen finishes off the T69 and the ISU finishes off the KV4. So let's pause it here. At first, they spread out Leeuwen and King Tiger to the dead alley. The ISU taking up a sniper position. The Tiger 1 taking up a forward covering position. And, well, the T1 Cunningham probably was going to E1, but he probably got taken out at F1 when he got into the firing range of that Tiger 2. The light tractor went up the hill and spotted the IS-3, and the AMX 5100 was right after him and, well, got taken out before he could actually do a lot of damage. But at that moment when the T-69 and the IS-3 won the hill, the ISU lost the Tiger 1 and the T-1 Cunningham, so he was alone against 2 tanks and the enemy had the hill, so they were up with 3 tanks against 4 tanks. A moment later the ISU took out the King Tiger, while the KV-4 was advancing through the 3 line, and well, the ISU suspected he was going to do that, pulled back a little bit, went up with his gun against the KV-4, and with 2 shots he took out the KV-4 as well. So the ISU has 2 kills on him. We can't look at that, but we know he's there. And now the Tiger 2 and the Leeuwen also took out the T-69, who rushed forward to do some damage, but while he was doing all that damage, he did almost got killed, and with 69 health or something, he went back up the hill, but Leeuwen and the Tiger 2 saw that the IS-3 was still on top of the hill, so they rushed after the T-69 and shot him down before the IS-3 could get in and help him. So now they're up with 3 tanks against 1. And well, the enemy IS-3, as you saw, was advancing through the middle corner. So it seems that our King Tiger and our Leeuwen will be coming up against that IS-3. So at this moment the game is already won. One IS-3 will not be able to win against 3 enemy tanks. And well, the ISU is rushing for the cap, so if the IS-3 was to win from the Tiger 2 and the Leeuwen, then the ISU would be already capping, and well, he would have made sure the win was theirs. But just to look at how the IS-3 got taken out, I'll show you it. And it will only take 3 more shots. And yeah, well, Tiger 2 and a Leeuwen with both more than 2 shots needed is explaining. So yeah, well, this will be a game in my mouse, and I played it last night, and it was my first game during my live stream. But yeah, well, a mouse on Melanovka in an encounter battle, you don't have a lot of options in this game. So let's pause it straight from the beginning and see the minimap. We see that we have tier 10 artillery, and the enemy has a tier 10 artillery as well, the object 261. And well, in a mouse you don't like tier 10 tank destroyers, so we are going to hate those 2 tank destroyers. And you will see the significance of, well, good placement and good use of retreat and assaulting in this game. That, well, the hill in Melanovka encounter is most important, as you all know, but also this area here, to be able to snipe out here, and well, this area here, I would say, the 1 line towards there and the 2 line with the few buildings there, to be taking cover. But going for the cap in this map is always making you look bad and letting you fail a game. So you will not see a lot of people go to the cap zone. In such battle, having light tanks is an advantage. Both teams have 2 light tanks, and both teams have some medium tanks. Well, actually, enemy team only has the Leopard 1, the Leopard 1, and my own team has the Batchat, the Object 140, the T-62A, and well, as I said, both teams have 2 light tanks, but the enemy has a tier 7 light tank and a tier 8 light tank, and we have 2 tier 8 light tanks. So our light tanks will be able to take a hit more than the enemy light tanks. And well, as I said, hill is most important in this map. The first on the hill will most likely win the game, although it's not always certain. But yeah, we will continue here, and you will see the result of taking over the hill fast. And well, it seems that we have a player with a very big wallet on our team, or actually probably not anymore, because as you can see, Panzerbomber only had 5k battles and he has an IS-7. Well, 5k battles and not having an IS-7, you're actually or playing a whole lot of games with a tier 8 premium tank, or you're grinding so good that, well, you earned the tier 10 tank so fast. But as you could see, his win ratio and his efficiency rating weren't that high, so he probably spent a lot of gold. But he ain't very bad, so it's not a bad thing to have such a player in your team. Every player does have its use. And yeah, well, the mouse is actually one of the... I was actually the slowest tank in this game. Even artillery is faster. And taking a risk here, crossing the path of that tier 10 tank destroyer. But not taking... He's not taking any shot. And here I finally was spotted. But yeah, well, in a mouse being spotted ain't a surprise. And I'll just keep moving. I do take a lot of hits. There's my first bounce. Someone wanted to shoot me in the front of the turret, but actually almost missed. And there's another bounce. And here's my first stupid shot. I should have aimed there, I didn't. And well, now I rushed forward to make sure that I got in front of the enemy team. Put a shot into the track of that mouse, taking his tracks and doing just over 400 damage. And well, giving me the time to aim again and reload. Now I'm reloaded. I take his track again while moving. And knowing that that's the strong point of my tank, I'll keep just taking off his tracks and let my team finish the job. So there goes his track a second time. And well, the enemy does take a shot into my frontal turret, knowing where to shoot me. And now I was able to finish off the enemy mouse. So, knowing how your tank plays, as well as knowing what the enemy will probably will do, is a big advantage. There, a gold shell is shot into my side because, well, I was so very good angled there that, well, the only place where they could shoot me was in my sides to penetrate me or my lower glazes. And well, turned my turret there in time. He bounced on me then. And then I bounced on him. He put a shot into my lower glazes, and then I retreat just in time to make sure he doesn't put another one into it. But he does get the second shot in. So let's pause it here, and you can see what difference the hill meant for us. So we did take the hill as fast as possible. The team actually stopped at A9 behind the small updraft there, still having almost only the turrets shown to the enemy. But the enemy isn't advancing towards where I am standing now, near, besides the mill here. And well, I spotted that early on, and recognized that if I would go forward there and then, I would make sure the enemy wouldn't be able to get to the hill anymore. So we would have the advantage of them being on the side of the hill. And as a team that starts at that point, at the western point, being on top of the hill is very important. But then those tank destroyers there and there will not be able to shoot anything. But if you're out here, you have to worry about tank destroyers out here and maybe one here to have shots on you. Seeming our artillery got taken out by the enemy light tanks early on in the game. They didn't have to worry about the artillery, but if artillery was still alive, artillery would be completely going crazy on those tanks there, and well, you would be able to do lots and lots and lots of damage, while the tanks on the hill would just have to spot and didn't or won't have to take any risks at that moment. As we know now, there are 4 tier 10 tanks in front of us, and there's 2 tier 10 tanks taken out and 1 tier 9 tank taken out there. We know that we are in a big advantage having, well, me myself in my mouse. There's the tier 10 British tank destroyer, the Death Star, full health IS-7, Jagdpanzer E-100, another IS-7, a 113, and a tier 9 German heavy tank. So we actually have 6 tier 10 tanks and a tier 9 tank against 4 tier 10 tanks. So we have the major advantage here, but the enemy does still have the Death Star in the back, so he can be losing up the moment we pop up at the ridge. They have artillery left, which probably is somewhere in this wood, and we don't know where because we can't see it yet, we didn't spot it yet. And they still have the Jagdpanzer E-100 that still is unspotted. So we do still have to watch out here and make our choices in the correct manner. So let's see, and as I explained this basic tactics to you now, we do have to make sure those 4 tanks are taken out fast and that the enemy Leopard is being taken out by the Object 140 without our Object 140 being shot at by those 2 tank destroyers there. As we know, that's a favorite spot for tank destroyers in this map when you're playing Encounter. So we have to draw the attention of those camping the tank destroyers there and make sure that the attention on that is being drawn away. So let's see what's happening. I'm moving forward, immediately sure that if I move forward too far and I get penetrated, I'm dead. I'm an instant kill for any penetrating shell. Taking a bounce there, bouncing on the IS-7, but I don't mind bouncing on something. The FV is moving forward very recklessly there. I am aiming for the IS-7 but don't get shot in, and I'm being shot at by the enemy Death Star. Got a hit more and another hit, so 3 hits taken, more extra hits taken, but only got damage from 1 hit. The Jagdpanzer E-100 took a major risk there by going forward fast and taking out an enemy tank, but he did get killed right after that. I stood there a little bit too long, knowing I was spotted, and got another hit from the Death Star. He was shooting hash probably, but having my tank angled so good that he wasn't able to penetrate, and so he only did splash damage, having a hash shell doing HE damage, HE penetration. And now we have spotted the FV-215B-183. The Object 140, one from the Leopard 1 there, with the T-124, and the Betcha 25 and the Foch, one from the E-100. There's two tanks completely losing up, unloading on those tank destroyers, and the last tank is there. And right before I am going to shoot him, let's have a look at what happened. I moved forward so I could draw some fire from this area here onto my tank. They did bite, shot at me, then the Death Star rode up, and well, seeing I had more armor and more health, and they seemed to think I was more dangerous, the enemy Death Star put a shot into me instead of our tank destroyer. So I took the damage, which this tank is totally designed for, and well, still being totally in the open, I was taking total advantage of the huge amount of health points the mouse has. So I made sure that the enemy tanks were firing at me mostly, to make sure that my teammates were surviving. And at a certain point, the mouse is just too big and too lumpy to be assaulting after enemy tanks, and you should just be sniping enemies to make sure that whatever they are going to shoot, it's, yeah, well, it may be your team they will be shooting at, but if you did the right thing from the start, you will take total advantage of what the enemy is making for mistakes. For example, not going up the hill. What the enemy mouse was trying to do, by the way. He was trying to get up the hill, but I blocked his path, tracked him a few times, and made sure my team could unload into his side. So, well guys, I'm just going to let you see the last shot towards the T110E5 from me, if I made the shot at least. And well, as you can see, I am already aiming for him. But yeah, I hope you guys like this. I am hoping that you learned something from this, and I am hoping that you guys are trying to make the same choices I make during matches, and also to take more of a notice towards the minimap to the bottom right of your screen, where you can follow what your team is doing in the game and react to it in time. And well, if you get tunnel visioned at some point in the game by killing an enemy which is on just about the same footing as you, don't get me wrong, I have the same problem, and you shouldn't feel embarrassed by it. It even happens to the best sometimes, although the players with less skill and less experience in the game do tend to have it more often. And you can always work on having less tunnel visioned thoughts in such games. And well, if you liked it, I am surely hoping you are going to hit the like button then. Goodbye, and I hope I'll see you guys on the battlefield.